Hello and welcome to this webinar. This is the second in our certifications and contracting series. Today, we are addressing the New York State Contract Reporter. I'm your moderator, Jenny Alton from the New York Small Business Development Center Central Office. Your presenter today is Gina Hayduk, the Government Contracting Coordinator here at the NYS BDC. This webinar is brought to you by the New York Small Business Development Center network of 20 campus-based centers and many more outreach offices located across New York State, along with a central office based in Albany. The NYS BDC is a U.S. Small Business Administration resource partner. Our free advising, education, research, and advocacy services are made possible by funding from the SBA, New York State, and our host campuses. So you know, this session is being recorded. We will share a link to the recording along with a copy of the slides with attendees in the next few days through a follow-up email. Attendees are muted and will not appear on camera today. If you have questions during the presentation, please don't hesitate to type them in the Q&A box as they come up. You can open Zoom's Q&A box from the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom window. We'll save questions for a Q&A session at the end of the presentation so that Gina can get through her materials first today. And I'll also be monitoring the chat. Those chats will be visible to Gina and myself. And with that, I think we are ready to get going on our presentation. I'll turn the time over to Gina.
Thank you, Jenny. And welcome, everybody. I am going to turn my camera off so I'm not distracting anyone. And I may at times, just to forewarn, mute myself. I do have a little cough and I'm going to try very hard not to cough in everybody's ear. So with that, welcome to the New York State Contract Reporter and how to navigate. I will refer to it more simply as the Contract Reporter. So I saved me 2 words, I guess, I don't know. In this webinar, I will show you how to log in or set up a login into the Contract Reporter. I'll show you how to navigate and how to conduct searches. It is not the most user-friendly, so hopefully when we're done, it will become more user-friendly for you. And this is the database that you will have to log in once somebody has an MWBE, it's part of that login. There we go. First, what is the New York State Contract Reporter? To get there, here's the link, and this is what it will look like when you open it. Contract Reporter is New York's official publication of procurement opportunities for state agencies. And when I say procurement, I just want everybody to understand it's not somebody who has an MWBE, it's for anybody who wants to find jobs. The agencies are the state agencies, public authorities, public benefit corporations, and it also is free and published daily. And as an added bonus, it's one of the sites on our bid matching system that the SBDC pulls from. So I know I mentioned this on the last webinar, but I'll be getting to it again about our bid matching. This is the threshold information as to when companies will need to post their contract on the Contract Reporter. I realize it's busy. I just wanted you to see what it looks like when you pull it up. The bottom line is that if the contract is for $50,000 or more, it needs to be published in the Contract Reporter for the New York State. And again, that's the link. So when you do get the slides, you'll have access to these links. So now setting up an account. Once you open up the website, you will click here to get started. Makes sense. As an aside, if you already have a login, you will click on login. And also once you set up a login, you will go this route every time. So this is always where you go. Now you have to choose what you are. a client looking for contracts or a New York State agency looking to post. And mostly you'll be a client looking for contracts. And that's the route we're going to follow today. This is a list of the things you will need to enter so you are prepared. Terms of service. Read the terms of service and make sure you agree to move on, as in everything that you apply for, okay? Create a logon and you will be asked to enter your email address. So decide if you will use your personal email address or your business email address. You will need a username and password, so make sure you remember both. I know that it's just another username and password that you're going to have to remember, but find a way to remember it. And it will also give you verification text characters. So make sure you note the case upper and lower, because it is one of those funky ones that look and you can't. So just be mindful. And then you'll enter your account information. You will need to enter your name, business name, address, and demographic information. And be descriptive as it will be part of your profile. So when a company's looking at you, when you apply for a contract, they see what you do. It's their first access to your business. And then they'll send you an activation code. The next few slides, we will navigate on how to manage your account. And this is where it gets a little tricky. This will be the next screen you will see, and this is where you will enter more information from your searches and also for companies to find you. And so first you will choose My Opportunity Profile. And then this will come up. These are the categories to choose from. As you can see, there are 4 different classifications, and it will only give you what you might qualify. Here, I chose some to show how they look selected, just so you can see. And again, like I said, it's busy, but I'm a visual person. I like to see what I'm hoping to find. And then next below the categories, you will choose the counties you will provide your goods and services. And as you can see, I chose what the Mohawk Valley SBDC covers, and it's the Herkimer, Lewis, Madison, and Oneida counties. And then as you click them, it'll highlight them and it'll list them below. And this will choose your audience that suits your business. And so if you are able to service all of New York, then you click all of New York, and it's statewide is a button at the top, or you choose your individual counties. The last thing in My Opportunity Profile is to select the ad types you prefer to have sent to you. You can choose all, one, or a few, whichever suits your needs. And you can go back in and change this, because you will get a lot of emails depending on which option you choose that fits your categories. Next, you will decide if you want electronic notifications or not. And this is a personal preference, and you can turn it on or off as it suits your business. In My Account Information, you will be able to edit or update the information that you entered when you set up your login, because not only can this information change, it may need to be refined. And so if you make a mistake and you realize that after you've set it up, this is where you would go to fix it. And in My Ad Update Notifications, you will see any notices that generate from your criteria. So this is where you would go to see if something comes up. Now, here are some examples of types you can see that correlate with the options you had chosen from. And we'll dig deep into how to navigate these ads. When you're looking for contracts to bid on, you will click on My Opportunities. Once you're given the ads that apply, or any ad just you want to look at, you will select View This Ad, and it will give you the whole description and duties required. So it gives you everything that's required, the forms, the criteria that you have to be able to apply for the job. It's all going to be there. Now, this is what it'll look like once you open it. and we're going to review this posting. The tabs across the top, and I made them a little bigger so you can see them, is description, contact information, bid results, and documents. It opens up on the description tab, which makes sense because that's where most of the information is. This will give you a full description of the job and what is needed to satisfy the contract. One hint I can give you is to read it and read it again, and maybe even a third time, because you do not want to miss one thing that they're asking for. And lastly, if you like this and want to refer back to it, you can click on bookmark, and this ad will be there for you to revisit later. I picked this particular ad. It's an old one, but it just shows some of the things that small businesses and minority-owned, women-owned, service-disabled, the set-asides. And the clients that have been MWBE certified or disabled veteran-owned businesses, this is an important fact to know when applying for a contract. It doesn't mean you can't apply for the contract if you don't have those certificates. It's just is letting everyone know that they are looking for at least these companies to apply amongst all that do apply. So the contact information, and it's probably the most important information for not only asking any questions to help, but keep in mind that if the client, if the company doesn't think they can handle the whole contract, they can contact the person on the contract and see if they could be a subcontractor. Being a subcontractor, which we have talked about in my last webinar, and we will go a little deep here, but we will dig deep in our next one 2 weeks from now in the series. So being a subcontractor to another contractor can help the lead contractor meet any of the requirements we talked about in the prior slide. So if you can't do the whole job, but you're an MWBE, you can contact them and say, if you hire this one company and they don't have an MWBE, please put me on the list of people they can reach out to. That's always a way to go. Documents, and here you'll find any documents that are needed to accompany the bid. Most times it's a fillable spreadsheet or PDF to itemize the things needed in an easy and readable form for the contract manager. They want you to follow the documents they give you. Adding extra doesn't always give you the leg up. It may cloud what you have and what they need. Keep that in mind. So bid results. This is an old contract, like I said, but an example as the sample we've been looking at is not yet rewarded, but there's another way to be a subcontractor. The client, the contractor, anyone can call and contact the company that was awarded and see what they can do to assist. So if you had bookmarked it and it gets awarded, the awardee will be here, and that's how you can contact the company and see if you can be a piece of their product. Excuse me. Next, we will explore the search and filter functions of the contract reporter. This is where it really gets in the weeds. This is what they look like, and they can be found down the left side of the screen once logged in. For filtering, these have been chosen in my opportunity profile that we talked about. So here's where you would be using what you chose. Here you can make any changes that you might want to hone in on a bid further. If you've seen a bid and you don't have in your opportunities what you can do for that specific contract, but you do actually have the ability, you just didn't put it in there, here's where you will put it back in. And as for searching, two self-explanatory options are my bookmarked ads and open opportunities. So those are the two things. When you bookmark them, they'll be there, and then anything that's open will be there. Both advanced search and search the archives gives you this screen, and they can be searched by any or all of these options. And as you can see, many of these filters have drop downs with more options. So you can really hone in on something that you're looking for. And then recently closed ads. And again, this is for the subcontractor in you. This is where the client can see who was awarded the contract, and you can contact the firm to see if you can help. You can sort by contract title, and that would be mindful when you look at contracts to write that down in case you need it going forward, and of course with the bookmark. You can do agency or company, the issue date, the due date, the category. It gives you all these things to be able to find what you're looking for. And then you can also use this as a learning opportunity, and they can always you can always contact the company to see how they bid, and it will help them next time. And also another thing you can do when you bid and you don't receive it, you can ask for a debrief. And then when they in the debriefment, they will tell you what you didn't have that the other company did. Now, searching the registry, it's very important for many reasons. You should always search for yourself. Always make sure that when you got yourself put in there and your profile's in there, you search for yourself and you find yourself. Because if you don't find yourself, that means you've done something to not make it public. And you want to be able to make it public, you want to be able to see it. So I always say, once you have everything in there that you want, go and search for yourself. If nothing else, it gives you what other companies are looking at, and maybe you don't like the way it looks. Maybe you want it to look a little different. Maybe you want certain things to be more prevalent than others. So and this is more information, the benefits from the business registry, and that I went through some, but not only does it create a searchable account for your business, agency users can use the contract reporter or the NYS category, the NAICS code, keyword, filter by MBE, WBE, DBE. State agencies or prime contractors can find the firm and contact it directly with contracting opportunities. So always, it's a big thing, and I'm going to harp on it, is the business registry. Make sure it is your first look, the company's first look at your company, of what you do and what you can provide. A company can advertise its subcontracting opportunities by submitting ads, which is a contractor ad. So know that. Ads can be sent through the e-alert bid notification system. The company can search the directory for subcontractors, and you could also search other company profiles of similar businesses to compare. What are they promoting that you're not, that maybe you should? And then the procurement resources tab. This will provide you to links to a wealth of information through the links showed here. Each one of these are active. So if you click on it, it'll take you to the site. And the last tab to navigate is the notices and reports tab. Here you will find any events, bulletins, or procurement reports. And it sometimes, and I don't know if any of you attended, but last week we had a matchmaker in Albany, and that was very successful, and people were able to talk to companies and see what's out there. And it was broadcasted here. And just to show you the many ways to find some of the items that we have covered, this is the New York contract system, which is where you would start if you were starting an MWBE certification. You can view all the programs and notices that you can view, opportunities, since all the links feed from the contract reporter except design and construction. That feeds from the OGS, which is the New York State Office of General Services. And that's an easy one to pull up. You just type in OGS. So here we are. Questions? Hit me, Jenny.
Here I am. Okay, here we go on some questions. So I just, as we get started in this Q&A portion, I would like to remind everybody, pop open that Q&A box that's at the bottom of your Zoom window and type your questions in there. We've got time for Gina to be able to answer what's on your mind today. So the first question, well, first I want to address a couple of things. I put a link for your last webinar into the chat.
Okay.
So if you were not on that webinar 2 weeks ago, you can catch up on all of the great information that was in that webinar at that YouTube link in the chat. Also, we are recording again today, and you'll get a link for the recording as well as the slides coming up in your email inbox in the next couple days. So taking care of that housekeeping so everybody knows, yes, we recorded last week. Yes, we're recording this week, and we'll get you slides. So we want to make sure that you are well prepared as you go forward from these webinars to do this type of work. Okay, so first question, Gina.
Yes.
What if your certification is still in process? Would you want to say that on your profile in the contract reporter?
If you have submitted it and you're waiting for determination, yes, you can say that you have a submitted certification and awaiting approval. If you're working on it, I would say no, because they can call the ESD and verify whether you're in there or not. And the ESD doesn't know that you're in there until you hit submit.
Got it. Okay, so do other states have similar registries to New York? And if they do, how would somebody go about finding those?
I do know that some do, because people have asked me how to navigate them, and I've looked into how to, but I don't know of all. One of the ways you can do a look in that respect is if you are, I know this one way, and of course I'm going to promote our bid matching system. If you're in our bid matching system and you have other states that you have selected that you can service, you will get bids that sometimes will come in those search engines, and that's a way to know to get into there and get a login. But other than that, you can also search. Most of the time, if you say state contract, Florida state contracts, and pull it up, it'll give you the site, that kind of thing.
Okay, so we do have a question on the requirements for MWBE. And so if you want to just touch on that briefly, I would recommend we went into that in detail in that webinar 2 weeks ago. So check out that recording. I'm also dropping in the chat the link for the file folder where we're putting these slides. And so you can go back and look at Gina's slides. It's got all of the details on this. And so I'll drop that in the chat. And if you want to just very briefly touch on that.
Yes. Okay. So qualifications to get your MWBE, you have to be a woman or a minority. And there's a list of minorities on the website that, or the webinar that I did. And you have to be in working for at least a year, have at least 1 year's taxes, have 3 committed organized in fully completed contracts with payment, and proof of citizenship. How's that?
Perfect. All right. We've got some resources available there for further details.
Yes.
We have some questions here on some specific types of businesses. So really quickly though, I do want to catch this question while we are on this topic of the certification. So is there any cost associated with the certification application, Gina?
No.
Okay. And I want to remind everyone, and I will drop a link for this in the chat as well, that
I
our
realized that in a
services,
month.
our services as the NYSBDC are offered at no cost as well. So we can help you prep for the certification application, as well as help you find all of those opportunities to use that certification after you have gotten it. And so I'll drop a link in the chat for signing up with the NYSBDC if you're not currently a client. What you do is you sign up with your local center for services, and then your local center can work with Gina, who is our government contracting procurement expert, and help you get completely ready for that process. Gina is, what is your official status? I forget. You're something
Government
special.
contracting coordinator. That's
Right. But I mean, with ESD, you've been approved to help.
Yes. I have, there really isn't but I've been certified through them to view and review people's application before they send them in. So that gives the ESD another layer of the fact that I vetted the company in making sure that they are providing what they need and have the criteria that they should.
Right. So Gina is an expert and can definitely help you raise your odds of a successful application if you meet the qualifications. Gina can help you smooth that process and get things in the best possible way that you can.
And I do also, just so everybody understands, I will tell you if you shouldn't, if I don't think you're going to pass, because it is a lot of work and it's your choice to do it. But if I think that there's something that you need to refine or fix before you do, I will give you that information, because I try to set people up to succeed, and I will do my best to make it so you don't fail.
Thank you. And do you want to mention the summer sail through program that's going on right now, Gina?
Oh, sure. There's a new program, and it's through the ESD, and it's in coordination with me. I have a direct link to somebody in the ESD, and it's do you have that?
I have a flyer on it. And
Yes.
so I will, in a moment, I'll drop that into that Google Drive folder that I shared. And then people can look at it in that same Google Drive folder with these slides. So I'm finding it, and we'll get it in that folder for everybody to look at.
Perfect. And what it does is it's going to, anybody who apply, now, this is one of the glitches that, of course, the flyer is going to have a QR code, and the QR code takes you to start your certification. If you've already started it but have not completed it, you can still be within the program. You just have to speak to, get to be a client of ours if you already are. Talk to your business advisor. They will get to me. Once I have your name, I put it on the list of people that have been vetted. And then there's they're looking to, it's called Sail Through Summer. They're looking to get you certified within a 90-day time frame.
Okay, that flyer is now in that Google Drive folder. So if you need to refresh, and you should be able to check out that program that is going on with ESD and the NYSBDC right now. Okay, let me just do a couple more quick questions before we go to some of these specific businesses. So we have someone, so proof of citizenship or proof of legal residency, what would that entail?
Citizenship would be your birth certificate, or your license, or your if you have become a naturalized citizen, that paperwork.
Okay. And then so to clarify, green card holders are not qualified for MWBE certification. Is that true?
That, I'll get back to that answer.
Okay. Ooh,
Look
that's
right
a
now,
good
because
question. Yeah.
What's that?
I said, that's a really good question. It
is. And
yeah.
I want to speak to that completely. And I have a file that I can look up while we're talking. And we'll circle back to that one.
Okay. And so give me just a moment here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat where you can sign up for services. So what you do is you go to this link and you select the center nearest to you, and then there will be a online form link on that center's page. And so then you can sign up for those services with your local center. And then, as I mentioned previously, that local center will coordinate with Gina to get you help on all of this contracting stuff. So putting that in the chat right now.
And that
Okay,
gave me time to find my answer.
good. Go ahead.
So these are all the options: US passport card, US birth certificate, consular report of birth abroad, certification of birth, certification of citizenship, certification of naturalization, US citizen identification card, Native American tribal document, other government issued identification providing US citizenship, and documents may be provided as evidence of permanent resident aliens status include permanent resident card, green card.
All right.
I
Excellent.
knew there was something
Thank
at the
you.
bottom, but I couldn't remember how they put it. I wanted to make sure I was right.
That's perfect. Thank you for looking that up, Gina.
Yep.
I appreciate it. So let me see. Just a few more questions on this. Let me see. Oh, somebody's having an issue. Nicole, can you let me know? Is that the link for the locations page that people are having difficulty with? Let me see. Oh, okay. Maybe try it. Let's see. I'm going to drop it again in the chat and see. Because it's coming up for me here, so I'm not sure where the error is. So go ahead and give that a click again and see. Okay, great. We've got some people getting through now. Perfect. All right. Yeah, try that again if you weren't able to get through before. Okay. So somebody had asked about your email address, Gina, and so that is on the screen right now.
Yep.
G Hayduk at mvcc.edu. Gina is based out of our Mohawk Valley Center, and so she will get your specific questions if you email her at that email address that is currently on your screen, if there's something that you want to ask her. Okay. So so we have a question about, can a man apply for this certification? And so I think if you can go over if a man, the qualifications that a man would have to meet to apply for the minority business certification.
Okay. Yep. So yes, if you are of the minority status, and I'm pulling that up right now to give you the minority status is Black, Hispanic, Asian Pacific, Asian Indian subcontinent, Native American, or Alaskan Native.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And to clarify, if you have applied for MWBE through New York State, does this mean that you still have to fill out a federal certification application?
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
Okay, separate program. And
Separate
so
program.
I know
that's called a women-owned small business, so it's a WOSB.
Right. Okay. But I know, Gina, you've told me the good news is it asks for a lot of the same things. So if you've gone through the process and gathered everything, you should be ready to go to do that certification as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Let's see, I'm just making sure that we're catching all of these. So questions on a few specific types of businesses. So we have one that is a nutritionist. And
Okay.
so do you have any opportunities or do you have recommendations on opportunities for like subcontracting for a nutritionist?
Um, well, it depends on how wide you want to go, but you can on the New York State Contract Reporter, that is where SUNY and local school, not really local schools. I mean, you'd have to go to your local school to see, but the BOCES and the SUNYs and all those will have contracts on there for. I've seen them, they're few and far between because they usually are for a certain period of time. Now is probably almost late for next year, but I would look anyway. But yeah, that's usually where you'd find them.
Okay. We have another person who is an architectural lighting designer
Okay.
and just founded their own studio. Where would this person go looking at government project opportunities? The person says that they usually work in design teams with architects and engineers.
Okay. What I would say is to, if you're looking just straight New York State, I would go make sure that your profile in the New York State Contract Reporter is accurate. And also, I know I'm going to touch on this. I think I did the last one too, but you can go into Open Book New York, it's called, and it's exactly what it sounds, Open Book New York, and find contracts of those sort that have been awarded to the people you usually work with. And you can actually pull them if you know certain names, and they will be able to tell you if they have opportunities.
Excellent. We have another attendee who has a cleaning business, and it is a small business. So just this person and a family member.
Okay.
And so they are looking to grow their business. So it looks like New York State, New York City, Suffolk, Port Authority, New York and
Mhm.
New Jersey, and SBE. And so they said it's difficult to get contracts because they are asking for workers' comp. And
Mhm.
so is there anything that you can comment on with that situation, especially with it being a very small business and the workers' comp requirements?
Yeah, and when it comes to the state or the federal, they're always going to want you to have the workers' comp because of the liability. The only way to find a way in is to either get workers' comp or, which that's a no-brainer, right? But that's expensive, and I understand that part, is to try to do a subcontracting. So you would go under somebody else's contract and they would, so they're the New York State would not be hiring you, the contractor that they hired will be hiring you, and then you would fall under their workers' comp, usually.
Okay, and that's something that we would love to have that person. If you need more information, get in touch with Gina and she can
Yeah.
help get you further information about that. So that's something that she's great with, is getting all this type of information that businesses need. Okay, so let me see. What about food related businesses, Gina? How would food related business go about looking for opportunities?
And that will depend on how big you want to go. There are, like I said, our bid matching system does pull from local counties and municipalities. So that would be, and also too, for the cleaning, you may want to do smaller things, but add up to more. In the bid matching system, if you when you put it in there, you will get all that's available throughout. So it doesn't have to be a $50,000 contract with New York State. Oh, excuse me. It can be something that's smaller within your town or county.
All right. And again, that would be another great thing to contact the NYSBDC and work with Gina on. She can help you know what opportunities are out there for your service area. And again, that bid match service that Gina has been referring to, that is a free software system that pulls from multiple locations, different contract opportunities, and sends them to you. And that is available for free to NYSBDC clients. So yet another thing as a government funded program that we are able to offer to you at no cost. Okay.
And just so
yes, go
everyone
ahead.
knows, in New York State, it's about 750 different sites. In the United States and subsidiaries, it's over almost 3,000. So, you know, some of the work you can't do yourself by looking through all those, you can do through getting one email a day.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's great. And so we have another attendee who is in security services, and they're currently only registered New York. So registered in New York and looking for subcontracts to fill. Any suggestions for that type of business?
Yeah, I would say to get on sam.gov, because that is sometimes for that type of business, it may be contracting from a different state. And so sam.gov would give you that same idea as the contract reporter. The contract reporter is another one, and also our bid matching system. Those are the three big areas where you can find jobs. And then also there's the Open Book New York and the USA Spending. Those are two different websites that are, I think I've given those to you, Jenny, before. If not, I'll make sure that you have them and they can go out with the slides, those two
Okay,
websites.
that would be perfect.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
It'll work easier. Yep.
Yep. That would be awesome. And we'll drop that in that folder where we're putting everything for this series, all those resources.
Yes.
And so somebody, oh, go ahead, Gina.
And
Yes.
what I was going to say is they have what has been awarded, and then you'd have to do your legwork to contact the awardees to see if you can help.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so somebody had asked just for a little bit more information about the bid matching system. So the procedure for becoming, getting into that bid matching system, Gina, is what?
Is contact us, become a client of ours, and we send you a form. The form should take you 5-10 minutes tops to fill out. I've made it so it's all basically click, click, click. You choose of the options that are out there. You decide which ones apply to you. Give me a whole, good amount of keywords, which mean things that describe your business. So that way it'll pull from the contracts, those words, and your NAICS codes. And once it's in within a day, every day at a certain time of day, you'll get an email from the system, and it tells you this is what's out there. Do with it what you please, basically.
Great. All right. So Gina, this person, so they were able to create a profile and see available contracts, but not be awarded any contracts until they're approved. So I guess they have their application in at this point. So in your opinion, is it advisable to create a profile in order to kind of start looking at those like past contracts and bids while somebody is waiting for approval?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say any company that wants to do any work within the New York State system should go into the contract reporter and get a profile. Because that is the only way they're actually gonna get a contract from the New York State.
Okay.
You have to have a profile. You do not need certifications. You do not need anything other than a business that's thriving. Go in there and put your information in. You put the other stuff in as you get it.
Okay. So Gina, what is the best way to filter, let's say for a specific agency that would be posting through the New York State Contract Reporter? So for example, NYS CB opportunities.
You can put that in your filter
Okay.
that I showed you. Let me see if I can get over there. When you search the registry, you can find businesses that way. If you're looking for an actual contract, any one of these, and the agency and company would be one of them. So you would put that agency in there in the filter when it comes up, and that's where you'll get them.
Excellent. So you can set your filters to be very specific then in that way.
Yep.
Okay. So we have somebody who's just starting into this whole world of procurement and
Welcome.
certifications and contracting. Yes, welcome. Glad to have you. So what are your recommendations as far as applying for first? What would you say to this person?
Go small.
Okay.
Definitely go small. Do something that you know you can handle, that gives you a good rapport, and it's there, and you have it like builds your resume, and it gets you more things to come. But you don't want to take on something you may be able to handle and then don't, because then you'll have a black mark on your and it'll be not good. You want to be out there and say, oh, they did this contract, bingo, they did it great, I'll take them. You want to do something that's well within your means, or even a little less than what you can do. That's my
Okay.
recommendation.
Building small.
Yes.
And so as far as the certifications go too, if you'll go over your recommendations of, if somebody doesn't have any certifications yet, wants to start, how you recommend they proceed as far as what to apply for.
I always say that the MWBE is the best place to start. The reason for that is within the MWBE, you will be also able to fill out they don't want to call it fast, but you can fill out forms for the New York State Department of Small Business Services. It's another certification. You can fill out one form for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and then another form for Erie County and City of Buffalo. And those all go with your application for MWBE. And then they send it to those organizations and say, we approved this person. Do you want to too? So this way you don't have to go and do each one of those with all the forms. They have them all and they send them. That's part of registering as an MWBE.
Okay. And I know I've heard you talk before too about if you're doing the process of MWBE, sometimes it's good to just go ahead and do the federal process as well while you have all of this stuff together, all of these materials that you've gathered.
Right.
So do you typically do that with clients? If they're interested in going
if they're
to
interested,
that level?
if they're not ever thinking that they're going to be that big, they're not going to be working on federal contracts, don't, because it lapses just like the MWBE. When say you start with your MWBE and you work and you have to renew it every 5 years, and in 5 years you realize, you know what, I'm starting to get into federal. That's when you should do the WOSB. If you have things that they're pulling on you and saying, well, if you had a WSB, I can hire you, then yes, do it with your MWBE. But you have to feel it out. And when I talk to the clients, when we're deciding these things, I ask those questions and I give them, which options are best. And as always, like I say, I give it to you for what it's worth. You do what you need is for your company. But there's pros and cons of both. There's, I just think that you need to know, you have to have a very good idea of your company and where you want it to go and in what time frame.
Excellent. And so another certification, WBNC. So what can you tell us about that certification, and do you recommend applying for it?
WBNC.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna look that one up because that one, I think that is, hold on.
While you're looking
I
that
thought
up,
so.
I'm
Is
going
it
to answer another question. Yeah,
okay.
WBENC.
WE? That's what I was gonna ask you. Is there an E in
WBENC.
there? That's what I was just gonna
Yes.
ask you.
Yes. So while you look that up,
Yes.
someone had asked if you will have access to the recording. The answer is yes. Recording and slides. You'll get a follow-up email with links to those in the next couple of days from Zoom. So you will have access
Yes.
and be able to go back and review anything that you need to review, because I know it's a lot of information, a lot of things to look at. And so you'll definitely have access to that.
So this is the difference, okay? And
Okay.
that's why when you said WBNC, I was confused. I know the
Yes.
WBENCE. The WBENC is, you have to pay for it. And my opinion is that you shouldn't have to pay for something to get something in that respect. So if you want to, you can, but it is not any more robust than the MWBE. The MWBE is a worldwide, you know, notice, it's noticed. They have them in every state, little different in each state, but when somebody is in New York State in the MWBE, you're going to be noticed. And if you notice on, hold on, when I showed this, it says minority owned and women owned. It doesn't say WBENC. It says minority owned. So they're looking for the state certification.
Right. So definitely New York State Contract Reporter is looking for those specific certifications. Okay. Yeah, there are indeed other certifications out there, but we typically deal with the state ones and federal that are no cost.
No cost, right? Exactly,
Right.
and that makes it. It's just the others cost because they're just like an intermediary. They don't tell you that, but in the end, they're an intermediary. They're going to push you to get your MWBE with their help in their cost.
Okay. Yeah, I know they sometimes provide specific benefits and such. But yeah, we work with the free and openly available ones.
Yes.
Okay, so could you go back to your slides, Gina, about receiving notifications once you have identified, let's say, an agency of interest? And so can you go back to where you showed that in your slides of how a person would make sure that they're getting notifications on that agency?
Oh, okay. So my ad notifications, you want to make sure that you have that checked. So it's on the right-hand side and it's down under manage account.
Okay, and make sure that they are going to an email address that you are checking often then as well.
And you would turn your e-alerts on here, yes or no?
Okay. All right, we'll give people just a minute more. If we have any last questions, we have just a couple more minutes in our session today. So if there's anything else you would like to ask Gina while we have her for these last few minutes, please drop those in the Q&A box or the chat right now. But Gina, there have been lots of thanks that have come in, and thank you for the clarification. Thank you for the information, everything. So lots of those in the Q&A box as well as the chat, and wanted to make you aware of that.
Thank you.
So this person has a question. What if they end up moving state? So they've gotten this certification, but then they move to another state. What is affected then?
You would have, well, if you still want to do business in New York State, you have to notify the ESD, your certification that your address has changed, and you also have to get a certificate, sorry, too many words. Certificate of approval to work in New York State from outside.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. So what if, okay, continuing on that question,
Yeah.
if the company office will still be in New York, but the person is going to personally live somewhere else, does that change that answer at all?
No, yes, because the person, when you do the application, you put the work address in the application. So it's the company attached to your name.
Okay, and this person said that the rest of the co-founders would still be in New York City as well. So, okay, good to know. So is there any website training for this New York State Contract Reporter anywhere? Like anything that somebody can go do, hands-on to?
Yeah. They used to have it, but I don't remember if when they upgraded, if it's in there.
We'll give Gina just a minute
Yeah,
to
I
look.
don't see anything in there, but if I find something, I will let you know. You can, if you become a client, we can do a Zoom and I can show you, manipulate the file all the way through for you.
There you go. Gina can give you personal training. So whether it is out there still or not, Gina can give you
I don't see
personalized
anything
training.
on the main page, but and it used to be there, it was I think because there's so much to it that they just decided to let people get outside help. Me.
Okay, good deal. And this person says, great, they'll get in touch with you. So, because yes, it can be a little bit complicated. And once you get in there, trying to make sure you get all the details just right, it can definitely be helpful to have someone like Gina with her expertise helping you get everything set up the way that it needs to be. So we'll do this final question, Gina. So
Okay.
how do I become a client to work with Gina?
I will, let's see. We have our own for the Mohawk Valley. I will copy it into the chat.
So I'm putting our general link where you can get in touch with your local center. And then that's a specific link for Gina's center if you are in that location, Mohawk Valley area.
If you are outside of the Mohawk Valley, you go to the general. You'll get assigned to a center that is within your area, and you can either, you'll get assigned a business advisor, and you can tell them right away that you were on the webinar with me and tell them what you need. If they can't, they will reach out to me because I am the resource for all 20 centers. So if anybody has any questions, that they always will funnel to me. So, be upfront, tell them what you did, because there may be business things that you need help with, and they can help you too.
Right. You can get full range of services, and then you have Gina's expertise as well in this specialty area. All right, we are at time, so we will wrap up for today. Thank you so much, Gina. You are always just a fount of information on this topic. You know so much, and I appreciate your expertise and sharing it with our audience today. And so as we shut down this webinar, we do have an evaluation if you have just a couple minutes to give us some feedback, we always appreciate hearing what you thought about the webinar. If we were able to get your questions answered today, if there are other topics that you would like to see us cover in upcoming webinars, we'd love to hear from you. And so, Gina, again, thank you to all of you for your fantastic questions. Thank you. We appreciate you being here today and letting us be able to assist you in this sometimes a little bit complicated topic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a lovely rest of your day, everyone. You will be getting the recording and slides, and we hope to see you on the next webinar, which
In
will be
2 weeks.
coming up. And I'm going to make sure I say the right date, August 7th. Same
August
time.
already.
Yes, I know, crazy, August 7th. But
Yes.
yes, we hope to see you on August 7th as we tackle, let's see, what's our topic on August 7th, Gina? It's going to be identifying contract opportunities in New York and beyond.
Yes, and that's where we'll get into the state or federal.
All right. And if you do have any questions for me, you are welcome to reply to that follow-up email that you'll get. That will come to the learning@nysbdc.org email, which is an email inbox that I monitor. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.